All right, let's do an intro to the real five. Let's talk about the five love languages. If you don't know them, Gary Chapman wrote, I don't know how many different books for different ways you can use the five love languages, but the premise is simple, that every person has a top one or two languages of the five that when their partner or the person who's sharing their love to them, with them, they'll feel it. They'll actually notice it because it's reaching them in the language that they understand, okay? Now, it's really important to understand something here. I have met so many men who make this error. You use the love languages and you expect yours in return. Well, now you're a man in control. The five love languages were not designed for you to receive love. They were designed so that you could give love and that your partner would receive it. Now, that being said, I know it's confusing because if you guys read the book together or take the quiz together, then you're expecting that if I give her her love languages, then she should give me mine. And so you get a little bit huff and puff and like, what the heck? This is crap. But understand, you can only control your side. Go back to being a man in power. You're only going to be able to control you and who's using the languages being you, not her. So if that's the case, then we are going to use the five love languages differently. Now, I'm going to show you my way of using them in the next video. But for right now, let's run through what the five love languages actually are, okay? Words of affirmation, this is top of my list because I believe most women are words of affirmation. The other reason that I believe that is even if you're not a words of affirmation person, if you've been undermined, if you've been belittled, beaten down, if you've been blamed, if you've been criticized, if all the stuff that happens during regular disagreements, arguments, and fights, especially when they're nasty, you've undermined your wife as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, as a person. And so no matter what, every Lord needs to use words of affirmation, which in case you haven't figured it out is why we started making a lover's list in the beginning. Okay, we're going to be using the lover's list to give real affirmation. It sucks to tell your wife she's beautiful. Yes, you can. Catherine, you look so gorgeous. I'll do that all the time. But it's so wonderful if you can say, I love the way you did your hair today, the way it just kind of blows past here. And even better yet, if you see her out in public and the sun's shining, she's like, oh my God, you look like a movie star with that haircut. Like click, click, she remembers. Okay, like words of affirmation, if you can deliver truth to what you're saying, what you believe that is special about her, that you love, value, respect. This is the attention she needs, that the magnet's trying to give her. This is the attention that the lover's showing her so that she is seen and heard. Okay? You must nail this down, whether or not your wife is a words of affirmation woman. Quality time. All right, this is easy one, right? You just spend some time together. Here's the problem. If you've had your phone on with you all the time, if you're doing things when you're distracted, if you've been too afraid keeping the peace to say, babe, not right now, I just need a little bit more time so I'm undistracted, then you haven't had quality time. If you're lecturing your wife or you're piggybacking off of what your wife says all the time, then you're not actually spending quality time. She's no longer feeling heard, okay? And so we need to spend quality time where it's fun, where it's exciting. We're going to be creating variety, right? Mystery, novelty, right? So there's anticipation, uncertainty, and then when you come together, then all of a sudden this is a fun time because we're not going to the same 5 restaurants anymore. We're not going to the same weekly event, okay? Unless it's a super tradition for you guys. But the point is that you're going to be using quality time to spend true quality time, right? We want to connect during that time. So watching TV isn't quality time. I don't know who told you that. Probably your parents like mine did, but like it's not quality time. It's watching TV together. Okay, quality time is about you connecting. That does not mean that you can't connect there. You know, like you all know me well enough to know that, you know, Catherine's got her legs on me. I'm rubbing her sometimes. We're stopping and talking though. We're pressing pause just so we can continue a conversation or something that's going on with the show. This is because it's actual quality time. It's not quiet time for 2 hours while we watch a show. So make sure whatever you do for quality time, you're actually spending quality time. Acts of service. Now this one's tricky, okay? Because acts of service at first seems easy, right? You clean up the kitchen, you fill up her car with gas, right? But the point is simple, that the more you become partners, the more involved you are. It's all seeming like acts of service anyway, right? But you can step out, right, out of your comfort zone for your wife. If you know your wife's super busy and you know that she didn't do the Instacart order and she's an acts of service person, besides just being a man at home, then go make the Instacart order. So I want you to think about acts of service like going above and beyond. It's one of the reasons why I tell you guys to do to do your jobs the jobs that your wife can't stand, okay? So it's simple, because if you can treat your wife like she matters, whether or not she's acts of service or not, then the point is that you're relieving a lot of pressure. You are involved in the home. You are involved in her life. Drive her if she's going out with her friends, even if she's not an acts of service person. But if she is, you better drive her if she's going out with her friends. At least offer to give her that ride. Opening the car door. Notice again, she doesn't have to be acts of service. You're a gentleman. But here it becomes more important if she is acts of service. This stuff is really important, but you're probably starting to see why I don't think the 5 love languages are the cat's meow, and why I have my own real 5 method. We're using them quite different because we're supposed to be doing them all the time anyway. All right, giving gifts seems pretty straightforward, right? Buy her a gift, here you go, babe. No, it's everything you give. Remember when we talked about automatic turnoffs? Everything you give, from an I love you to a present, like anything, a compliment that you give to your wife, this is giving, okay? Now, giving actual gifts would be something special. If your wife is a diehard for some dress she saw on TV or a piece of jewelry her friend was wearing, do it. You know, the jewelry I would have custom made, right? You know, Catherine talked about this little, the tiniest locket, impossible to find because it's too small. Nobody made it. It was also in rose gold. Nobody made it. And so what do? I went and got one custom made for her because, well, gift giving is on her list, but more than that, because I wanted her to know that I was listening to her. She's seen, she's heard, she's valuable. So even if she's not a gift giving or a gift receiving person, you still do stuff like that. Again, why we don't use it the same way. But if your wife is a gift person, those kinds of thoughtful gifts, stay tuned for game-changing gift giving later, because this is what's going to change everything if your wife is needing gifts to know that you love her. Listening to her, understanding what she'd want, being creative with what she might like, that's going to make a gift person feel the love. Well, unfortunately, most women aren't physical touch. It would be nice, right? But most aren't. In fact, most men are, i.e. why men are so upset when they're not having sex with their wife, they don't feel a desire, and she's meeting the love language. If your wife is a physical touch person, it's really straightforward. When you talk to her, when you compliment her, touch her face, squeeze her bum, squeeze her shoulder, like physical touch, it's straightforward. But likewise, it's going to be something that your wife doesn't necessarily want that we are still going to be doing. As a lover, player, and a magnet, we need to be a man at play, pushing all this out there and getting in our wife's face with it, because that's the direction we're going. So if your wife's a physical touch person, remember that you've got to incorporate physical touch, understanding that right now that's probably why she's not touching you, and it's well beyond not necessarily being attracted or not into you anymore or whatever. At this point, it's just literally that she's not a physical touch person. She's not going above and beyond because it's out of her comfort zone, and especially if she's not interested in pursuing anything down the physical path, okay? But there you have it. Those are the 5 love languages. They're super important. As you can see, we're going to learn in the next video how to stack them, because we can be a lover, player, and a magnet and really be creative and have some fun. It'll give you a ton of inspiration. You might have to sit down for a little while and write some stuff down. Hey, have some fun. I'm not going to make that homework because it's that important. You need to start focusing and thinking on it, or you're just not going to get the benefits of it. All right, guys, let's see the stack and the real 5.